and welcome back to season 5. Yep, 5 of Let's Talk Chicago Bears. How are you all? Welcome back. It's Friday. For all you working stiffs, it's your Friday. I'm glad to hear that. I remember those days when I was working. Friday was the best day of the week. And so welcome. And there's, of course, this week, since the Indy game to now, there's been a lot of talk, we got to do this. Yeah, we know. So we'll get into talking a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the Rams, of course, because that's who we're playing Sunday in Soldier Field. So just welcome back again. Thank you for turning me on. Boom, boom. Hey, man, I'm up on myself here. Of course I'm going to say that. But I hope it made you laugh. So let's get going. Couple of shout outs though. I've been asking people if they'd like to let me know what state they're watching from other than Illinois. And I got another person from Kansas City saying they're from there. So welcome and thanks for watching. And I had already mentioned Arizona because I have a very, very good friend who I've known over 50 years and she watches the show. But her brother is now in Arizona with her. And I want to welcome her brother. I want to give him a special shout out. Bobby, welcome to watching Let's Talk Chicago Bears. And I hope it makes you laugh. I hope you enjoy it and maybe learn something along the way. So welcome Casey and welcome Bobby from Arizona. Okay, so the Rams and the Bears have played a lot. The Bears lead the series 54 wins to the Rams 39 wins and 3 ties. But the Rams have won in the last 3 meetings, and the last one was in 21. So we've got to change that. Right? Yes, let's get that changed. So we do play them. The Bears are 1-2, the Rams are 1-2. So we have the same record. Let's see how close they are in some areas, okay? All right, so, and I always do this on Friday. The Friday before the show, I give a few stats to show you where the Bears are opposed to who they're playing. So in the past, the Bears are averaging, as we know, not very much. They're averaging 176 yards per game passing. That puts them 25th in the league out of 32 teams. The Rams are averaging 231 yards, and that puts them 9th. So they can score points. So it's going to be a test for the defense. The rush is abominable. We're second to last. We are rushing 72.7 yards a game. That puts us 31st. Rams are really not much better. They're averaging 78 yards a game, and that puts them 29th. So we're even there, okay? Even Steven, we both suck at that particular part of the game. The Bears have scored another pretty embarrassing stat, 17.7 points a game. That puts them 22nd in the league. And the Rams are scoring 19 points, not much more than us. That puts them 20th in the league. So again, kind of right there. This is the really big difference and the only big difference between, the pass game is big because we're 25th, they're 9th. Points allowed by the defense, we have allowed an average of 19 points a game. That puts them 10th. Very good. And the Rams are giving up defensive points 30 a game. That puts them 31st in the league. So Bears defense and the Rams offense, as far as scoring, are going to be bumping heads. And we just got to hope that our defense continues to be as good as they have been, because Matthew Stafford can throw the ball. He's not good. He's not a risk for running it, but he's definitely can throw the ball. He's been around a long time. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows what he's doing. Our quarterbacks, let's compare them. Actually, they're not terrible, but he's not way ahead. But Williams, because of last week's game, has 630 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. He has 4 interceptions, 1 fumble. He's been sacked 13 times, and he's actually run for 67 yards. But the 13 sacks, really, really bad. Stafford has 754 yards passing this season. He has 2 touchdowns. He has 1 interception. He's been sacked 10 times, and he won't rush, so we don't got to worry about that. So both the quarterbacks have been sacked quite a bit. They both have the same ratio of touchdowns too, but he is throwing more yards, and he is a very good quarterback. We know that. I mean, everybody knows that. He's been around a long time, and he's good. Rushing, terrible, terrible, terrible. Swift, number 4, who you know I don't like. If you watch the show, I am not a fan. He has 37 touches for only 68 yards. Yeah, 68 yards, and we're going in game 4. He's averaging 1.8 yards a carry. Are you kidding me? When my son was in Pee Wee and he was the running back, he was averaging way more than that. Good Lord. Sit Swift and play Johnson and Herbert. And I've been saying that since game 2. Then our next closest running back is Fields. Fields, oh my God. You say I don't even want to talk about Fields, and here I mention him. Williams, number 18, our quarterback, he's got 67 yards, which is not a good thing because our running back should have more. Number 23, Johnson, has 30 yards, and number 24, Herbert, has 16 yards, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they haven't played a lot. These two should be starting and playing the whole game on Sunday, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it on Monday, but I'm pretty sure I won't be. We will see our running attack improve if those two are playing. Their leading rusher is Williams, and he has 164 yards. Now, that's where our running backs should be. And combined, they're not even there, okay? Bad. Their next guy is Kuman with 28 yards and Rivers with 25 yards a game. Our leading passer is Moore, number 2, Moore, with 167 yards. Number 15, Rome, comes in with 156 yards receiving. Clement, 85, our great tight end, who I want to see get more involved, which he finally did last week, and it made an improvement. He's at 128 yards receiving. And number 11, Carter, this guy, I kind of like him. He's one of those ones that just surprises you, and he's got 60 yards passing. Their leading receiver is Cooper Kupp. He has 147 yards. Now, he's injured. I'm not sure if he's going to play this game, but it would help us if he didn't. And then their next one comes in at Atwell, and he has 141 yards. Their next receiver, Robinson, has 124 yards, and Johnson rounds it up with 119. So these 4 receivers, Stafford definitely spreads the ball around, and they got some good receivers. So it's going to be a challenge for the defense. I think this is going to be one of their biggest challenges. I really do believe so. Let's see what we come out with, but that's where we are. I mean, the Rams aren't like blowing us out of the water offensively. It's sort of close, but they got us on the rush for sure, and everything else except for the points allowed by the defense are pretty much the same. So in my opinion, it's a winnable game, just like I thought that the Colts game was winnable, but we didn't do it. But this is a winnable game. All right, let's talk a little defense. The Bears have 7 sacks. Awesome. And let's say 3. So let's round it up to 10 by the end of Sunday afternoon. Wouldn't that be great? Because as I said, Stafford is not a runner. I mean, he may go to one side and the other side, but he's not going to take off running. He shouldn't. And so I think he's gettable for our defense. So go get him. The Rams defense has 4 sacks. The Bears defense has 4 interceptions. The Rams defense has 1 interception. I'd like to see at least 2 from this game. I think we can if we can rush, if our defensive line can get in Stafford's face enough to make him make a mistake or 2, we're going to have 2 interceptions. The Bears have 2 forced fumbles, and they have recovered both the fumbles. The Rams defense forced 3 fumbles and recovered 2 out of the 3 of those fumbles. So we're pretty close, as I said before in some stats. Now, this is really cool for our defense. NFL teams oppose average team passing rating. So this is the yards they're averaging when they're playing the Bears defense, and the Bears are number one in the league, just barely, and they're giving up passing yards, an average of 66 passing yards a game. That puts them first in the league. Seattle is right behind us with 67, and New Orleans has 67.8, and that they're giving up. So these three teams definitely have some good. They're not allowing a lot of points, or passing, excuse me. So that's a good thing. I'd really like to see the Bears defense continue this because they can run. They've got both. They've got a run and a pass. So we've got to, I think, force. We're going to have to stop that run, of course, and we're okay with that. The Bears defense, we'll see. So let's see what the Bears defense gives up on rushing yards. The Bears are 17th, and they have giving up an average of 121 a game of rushing, and that puts them 17th in the league. And that's a concern for me because we got to get that down, Bears defense. Obviously, they're blowing the average of passing out of the water, which is awesome, but we got to get that team under 100 yards. Don't give them over 100 yards. So if the Bears can, stop the run, and then they're going to have to force Stafford to throw more, get him in his face, Bears win that game. So if only that easy, right? I know. So here's the comparisons. Just see, you can think about it. It's not overwhelmingly different. So, again, on paper, the Bears have a chance to win. Okay, so my top threes, I'm going to put this in because I forgot last week. Time of possession, turnovers, and penalties. My rules. Time of possession, the Bears have been last week just shocked me how they overwhelmingly won time of possession and still couldn't pull out a win. Terrible. So you want to have we want to win that time of possession because normally you're keeping your offense on the field, you're keeping their defense on the field, which wears them down. And you hope by the fourth quarter, if you had a running game, you could just wear them out. Is what happened to the Bears last week in Indy, where by that fourth quarter they started slashing the Bears. You know what? That defense was gassed by the fourth quarter last week, so we don't want that to happen again. Okay, and time of possession also keeps your defense off the field and their offense off the field, so you want to win that. Turnovers are just an easy thing. I don't have to explain that. You win that battle. There is just so many things turnovers can do. It lifts up your team. It defeats the other team. It could hopefully puts your offense in good position to score some points, coming away with something. And it's just a momentum killer and a momentum driver. So you want to win that. And then penalties, which penalties drive me freaking crazy. It can just ruin so much. And I told you in this if you watched my show on Monday, I gave 3 or 4 examples about how it wasn't the defense, the special teams had a really bad one, and then the offense did, where they just kept putting themselves, they get out on the field and they're 1-20. First and 20, first and 15, and you're already behind the sticks. And the Bears, as we know, are not good enough to come. So I have a rule of 5 or less penalties, you're going to be in that game. So if you win these 3, my rule is you're in the game. And the Bears won 2 out of 3 last week and were in that game. They only lost by 5 points. Or you're going to win it. So it's important to win these 3 categories. Last week, the Bears won time of possession, and they only had 4 penalties. Indy was atrocious with penalties, and we just did not take advantage of it. So this week, keep the penalties down again. Do all 3 of these things, and I think we're going to win. So let's talk a little bit about the offense. Well, first, let's start with the defense because they're so good. So really, our defense is rocking it. I gave you the numbers. There's not much more to say except for the Bears offense has to step up because how defeating you got these 11 guys out on that defense doing a damn good job trying to keep the score low because they know their offense can't score. And every time they look up at the scoreboard, you're behind. The Bears have never been leading this season. And after a while, that's going to get in your head and it's going to piss you off. and you're going to get gassed by the end of the game because you're on. Well, the Bears weren't on the field a lot last week, but when the defense was, they were being, tested, and it's going to gas you. So you gotta. That defense, we've got a good defensive line. Sweat is being great. And then what we have Walker on the other side of the edge. He's been complimenting Sweat. And then we mix in Austin Booker, our rookie. And our defensive line is doing very well, but they've got to continue. And we got to get in Stafford's face. So important. As I said, he's not a runner. He's 35, 36, maybe older. I don't know. So my point is he's not going to gash us on the run. So, and our linebackers are doing a dang good job. They're doing a good job in the middle. Edwards, and then sometimes what's his name comes in. Those Edwards and Edmonds play it all the time, and then they put other people in to help out. So, and our backfield rocks. We know that we have a great backfield. I'd like to see. Last week in Indy, it appears that the backfield was playing off a little and giving them shorter yards. I get that, but you're going to have to be careful this week because Stafford can fling the ball. All right, so you're going to have bigger, longer passes. So the guys in the backfield really have to be alert. It is not Richardson from last week. It wasn't. Well, who do we play? We played Tennessee. Okay, C.J. Stroud was probably the best quarterback we've played this season, and Stafford right up there with him. So it's going to be a test for our defense, but I believe they can do it if they just stay and keep playing their game. Try to ignore the scoreboard because, you know what, hopefully we're going to get our offense going. But the defense is rocking it. There's just not much to say negatively about them. So we're going to move on to the real problem. So go D. So this week there's been a lot of talk about the offense, which deservedly so it should be. And Shane, our offensive coordinator, did have a press conference the other day, and he talked about letting the team talk. So some of the players, including Williams, Clement, DJ Moore, and veteran old dude, 40 years old, Mercedes Lewis, they all had messages for him and how he should be with this offense and what they want. And one of the particular ones was Kate Williams was saying he needs to get those plays called in. I mentioned it last week. He's got to get those plays called in right away when he gets out there in the huddle so he can tell his guys, he can line up, everybody knows what they're doing. You're not scrambling around looking at each other, when the clock's ticking down and, it's 5 seconds and my hair's getting whiter because I'm afraid we're going to get a penalty. Get the play in there, Shane. So, and he said because the plays aren't coming in, and he's looking to the sideline a lot. Give him enough time to see what the defense is going to do, and maybe things would be a little bit easier for them. And, these guys, some of the stuff, I'm not going to go into everything they said, but Shane said he was very open to it, and he appreciated some of the things the players say. And I like that he did that, again, we don't know everything that was said, and I'm sure that they were somewhat diplomatic when they were saying, instead of saying, Shane, you suck, so I like the communication, and I do like this one. I like Clement 85 or 10, and I love him. And on that play where Williams got the fumble where he got the ball smashed out of him. The thing about that, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but Rome, our rookie wide receiver, number 15, he had broken free down the field and nobody was around him, and Williams spotted him, and that's what he was trying to do. Well, Clement is blaming himself. He's like, I got beat by the edge rusher on Indy, and he's the one that swiped the ball out of Williams' right hand, and he said, and 85, Clement said it was all on him. Now, it doesn't take the fumble back, but I like that he owns it, and he probably said that to Williams, it's on me, not you, because they don't want Williams to get, start getting negativity in the head. But he said it. I blew the block. I didn't get to him, and had I stopped him, maybe we would have had a huge play, if not a touchdown, because Rome was wide open. But I like that he took the accountability for his mistake. He described himself as just a loss. There was just a loss there on a short play where the Bears, and this is embarrassing on that play, I think. The Bears had 7 men protecting him to a 4-man rush. So on that play, the Bears were using everybody they could, meaning their O-line and then their tight end and probably another tight end and running back. They're using everybody they possibly can against 4 guys. 7 men tried to stop 4 guys. Obviously, it didn't work. They caused the fumble. The Indy gets the ball on the 15-yard line, goes in for a touchdown. Bears lose the game. So, but I do like that he was accountable for it. But the fact that on the short play where they had to use 7-man protection to stop 4. What does that say? That's terrible. I mean, it's embarrassing. So, I don't know. That has just got to get better. We have got to, that line, I know they're beat up. I was looking at the injury report, which I don't have the final one by the time I do this show on Fridays, but we had, oh my God, there had to be 10 guys on that injury report. Some were limited, some didn't practice at all. They had 3 on Rams. 3. Yeah. We're banged up. We are so banged up. And that offensive line, obviously, we know we have to figure out what's going on. We're stuck with what we have. There's nothing we can do because it's too early in the season. Poles can't go out and get something from another team because it's early in the season. No one's going to trade anybody until halfway through. If they're all of a sudden you got a team that's at the bottom and they know they're not going anywhere, then you might get a trade for some draft picks, but that's not going to happen until at least halfway in the season. So we're stuck with these offensive linemen. They just got to fucking suck it up and protect this rookie. We cannot have him sacked like they did, I'm going to say it, Fields. Fields was being sacked all the time, and he runs, so he could never set his feet and run I'm giving that props to Fields. But he's been sacked 13 times, Williams. This is the 4th highest in the league. And there's no protection in the run game. No, there's no protection. There's no production in the run game, so that doesn't help him at all. Any quarterback, no matter who you are, your best friends are the running game and the offensive line, and you can flip them either way. Best friends to a quarterback, veteran, especially a rookie. So you got to get that run game going. But, 13 times you're going to screw this kid up if we don't change this up and stop getting him sacked. Here, first downs have not been good for the Bears. The Bears offense ranks 29th in the league on getting first down plays, averaging only 4.26 yards on 1st and 10. You got to have at least 5 to 6 yards. I mean, it would be nice to get the first down on the first down, get 10 yards, and you keep moving, right? But you've got to have at least 5 to 6 yards so your second down is shorter, which either you get the first down in your second down or your third down is even shorter, and hopefully you can get that first down. So it's so important on that first down. And one of the problems on the first down for that offense ranking 29th is penalties. They've hurt themselves with penalties. Instead of going forward, they're going backwards. So those have got to stop. The Bears' offense is definitely lacking explosive plays. They have been so sparse. It's unbelievable. You had the last week in Indy was the first time when we saw some consistent explosive throws to Rome, number 15, our rookie wide receiver. Now, if Allen, who we signed in the offseason, who hasn't played yet, if he could, he played a little in the first game. He does have plantar fasciitis, which I know is extremely painful because I had it years ago. And you know what? I heard somebody once had it a long time ago, and I thought, it can't be that bad. It is really bad. So I feel because you have to wear special shoes all the time. You can't go barefoot, and you got to stretch every morning before you get out of bed. Your heel cannot even touch a hardwood floor. That's how painful it is. It's awful. So, but my point is, Allen's got to be back in there, and I think he will be. So that'll be another target for Williams. But we have got to start getting plays down the field. Not, yes, the 5-6 yards passes are getting Williams comfortable, but you're not going to win a game like that. I was watching a game last night, like New York and Dallas and Daniel Jones. I don't know why New York paid him what they did, that quarterback, because he is bad. But they had a lot of yards passing, and they're like, oh man, it was the third quarter, and they were still losing, but they weren't losing by much. It was only 5 points, I think, 3 points. And he had a lot of yards, their quarterback passing, but they were 5 yards passing. And then when it got down to scoring, they didn't score. Who does that sound like? Us. Now, in the beginning, we do want to get Williams comfortable so you can get him some short passes, but you got to get going. You got to throw downfield. You got to stretch the field. You got to make the defense worry. You got to put it in their head. Nobody's afraid of the Bears offense right now. Nobody. I'm sure back in Illinois, all the little league football teams wouldn't be afraid of the Bears offense. That's really how bad it is, right? Right. So when nobody's afraid of your offense, you're in trouble. So you've got to start making yourself show them, hey, if Fields can cut, oh my God, if I owned a gun, pickles. Oh my God. You know what? I'm so pissed. You know why it's in my head? All week I've been seeing comparisons, Fields, Williams, and it's really getting on my nerves, and that's why it's in my head, so I apologize. Williams, number 8, Cabe, which I call him Cabe. I know it's Cablet. Cabe. Oh my God. I shouldn't have had that last beer last night. I knew 12 was too many. I'm just kidding. Anyways, Williams, he's got to be able to really start getting those big explosive plays down the field. And then the defense, you're going to spread out their defense. And if you can get that going, it might help your run. Of course, if the run game would get going, then that opens it up for the pass game. If you have an awesome run game, you're going to be able to pass. But it all starts with the line, the running backs, and the quarterback, and of course, number 1, the play caller. Shane, you got to be better. Get those plays in right away for Williams, and let's be a little smarter. Like that horrible failed goal line sequence we had in the second quarter, where they were first and goal to go on the 1 yard line. And they started out on the they did start out on the 4 yard line, and then they made it up to the 1 yard line. But poor execution, poor design, it was ridiculous. And this is what they did. I didn't realize it until I went back and read and then looked at it. There was no way this was going to happen because they had number 11 wide receiver Carter. They asked him to block a defensive end. Now, number 11, he's a receiver. He doesn't have a lot of bulk on him. A defensive end, you're asking him to block, and so that's bullshit. And they should have thrown some passes in there, done a quarterback sneak. I don't care, but you don't go and they had moved up to the 1 yard line, and they on 3rd and 4th down, and they still couldn't do it. That is, for that alone, Shane, shame on you. And it was a bad sequence of play calling, bad decisions, and it just a failure to not get any points was ridiculous. And talk about and not only did we not get a first down on the 4th and 1, they gave the ball to Swift. He lost yards. He ended up losing 7 yards, and he gave Indy the ball better than they were on the 7 yard line rather than the 1st yard line. So not only did we not get it, Swift lost yards. So that was just that. How would you feel if you were the defensive players and you're like, are you kidding me? We couldn't. I thought because how they've been playing so poorly on offense, they should have taken the 3 points, because points are points, and you never know what that can do to a team. If that can start to give them confidence, it would certainly boost your defense up. But I don't know. They didn't do it, and it was awful. I mean, and it was talked about a list. But the fact that they had a defense or a wide receiver blocking a defensive line who is probably twice the size of Carter, what the fuck were you thinking, man? And of course, you gotta protect Williams. The bottom line, 13 sacks. We can't have it. You're going to ruin this kid before he even gets started. And it's true. You are going to ruin him if you don't start protecting him. So I kind of gave you what's going on. I told you what's going on with the Bears. I think this is a winnable game. Again, I thought last week was too. So, and I know we still, everybody does need to calm down. He is a rookie. People wouldn't be so up in arms if our offensive line and our run game it looked this bad. If we were averaging where we should be, at least 100 yards a game, rushing, and not have 13 sacks on your quarterback, things would look different and people wouldn't be all over the Bears. But remember, Williams is still a rookie. But I am worried that, we don't want to get in his head. But he seems so level-headed. I think he's going to be all right. But Shane, OC, you gotta get better. Please don't start making me call you Getsy too, because I don't want to do that. Because I didn't like Getsy at all. I never thought we should have signed him. He came from Green Bay. I felt that was bad juju, having that Green Bay. Somebody was on Green Bay, and it didn't work, did it? No. So, come on, Shane. Please. We're on first name basis here. Lynn, Shane, let's go. So we know what to do. I don't even have to tell you. A third grader knows. Protect your quarterback. Get the damn running game going. Let's have some passes that actually go more than 10 yards down the field. Spread out those defenders on the Rams, and things might open up. And then, of course, our defense, just keep playing what you're doing, man. Just keep your head in the game. Just do your jobs 110%. Don't worry about the offense. We're going to figure that out. But we need you. You are the rock of this team right now. Unfortunately, it's all on your shoulders until we can get this offense figured out. And it's unfortunate, but guys, please just play to your ability like you've been doing, and you'll be fine. The backfield is going to be tested, though, with Stafford, so be on your game. I want 2 turnovers, okay? 2. And I don't want any sacks. I'm asking for 0 sacks. And I'm asking for over 100 yards rushing. I don't care how they do it. Just do it. Sit Swift. Play Johnson and Herbert, and this old lady is going to be right on Monday because I'm going to go, see? Told ya. And if I was wrong, I'll tell you too, because so what? I'm just a 66-year-old lady, so I've been watching the Bears for 49 years, and believe me, I have seen it all. And but I want this thing turned around because you know what? I want to go to the Super Bowl in the next year. It's not going to happen this year, but next year, yes. So get it together, Bears. You can win this game, okay? So you guys have a wonderful weekend. The game's in Soldier Field this week, the Rams. And next week, they're playing Carolina. And guess what? This lady is going to be there. You bet, baby. I'm going to be there with my sister. She lives in Tennessee, and my cousin who lives in Illinois, still one of the few relatives left. Pretty much all our relatives except for my cousin, one niece and one nephew. That's it in Illinois. We all left. My 2 brothers, my sister, me, nieces and nephews. Yeah. So not many of them left. So the 4 of us are going to the game. That'll be real fun. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. And as always, I'm going to end my show on please be kind. Love one another. Respect each other. Let's just, stick together. Smile when you see people. Let's be positive. Because there's too much negativity going on out in this world. So let's be positive and just have good days and love one another, okay? That would be great. And Bears fans, you guys rock. We're a tough breed. Anybody who's from the Midwest are tough people. We know that. And we rock. We really do. So, Bears, you need to bring us home a win. I don't care if it's 1 point, but we win by 1 point or 10 points. It'd be nice if we won by 10 points, but I don't care. A W is a W is a W. And bring it home. Bears, right? Yeah. Okay, and as always, I appreciate you watching. Tell everybody to turn me on, but because guess what? I like it. Okay, and as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. Go Bears!